All right, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are having a great day. We're going to be going over how to beat cover 4 today. Now, this is probably one of my most requested videos. Every time I post something, it's K-Mac, how do I beat cover 4 out of this? Every time I stream, K-Mac, how do you beat cover 4? And honestly, I didn't really realize this was that big of a problem for a lot of people. That's why I wanted to make this video today. For me, it's just kind of second nature. In my opinion, I think trying to bomb cover 4 is just not the direction you want to take. It was definitely the direction that a lot of people have taken in past years. However, cover 4 beaters just aren't as prevalent this year. I will show you one here in the West Coast playbook in gun doubles, which is pretty much in every playbook. But other than that, I'm going to be showing you guys some very universal concepts that you can apply out of literally any formation, any playbook, no matter what you run personally, that you can use to beat cover 4. Not for, necessarily one play touchdowns, but for more so in like that 3 to 20 yard range. We can just absolutely torch it without even having to think, very, very easily. Make your opponent hop out of that cover 4 and run a different coverage. If you guys don't like a certain defense, your goal and objective should be from the very start of the game to run whatever it takes to get them out of it. For example, if I don't like people who blitz 7, I should do everything I can possibly do to make them get out of that defense, make them feel uncomfortable, and get them in something that I'm more comfortable in offense against. So that's going to be our goal in cover 4. I will kind of say that in order to beat this cover 4, you are going to have to run the same concepts. You're going to have to make the same reads very often, over and over again, if that's what it takes. I know some people call that cheesy. That's just really not what we're about here, though, on our channel. We're about winning games here. If you guys want to learn how to get way better at Madden, at virtual football, this is what you have to do to go ahead and beat people. If they're going to run that same defense over and over again, like, just go ahead, run that same play that they can't stop over and over again. Don't feel like you have to have some sort of pride or something. You guys think if the Patriots played like the Steelers or something, the Steelers ran the same defense and the Patriots ran the same play over and over again and it worked every time for 8 yards, you think they wouldn't run that same play literally all game until the Steelers changed their defense? They would. So I hate that term. A lot of people are like, K-Mac, this is cheesy. You make the same reads over and over again. Like, run a different play. You only have one play in your playbook. That's just not what we're about on the channel, man. If you feel that way, this is probably not the place for you. Like I said, we're about winning games no matter what it takes here. As long as it's within the rules, obviously we don't, that goes without saying. We obviously don't cheat. This is not cheating. We just have some really, really awesome route combos for you guys here today out of any formation, out of really any play that you guys can use to be covered for. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, man. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright guys, so we're going to start this video off by showing you a one-play touchdown. Now I know I said this wasn't going to be centered around one-play touchdowns, but I will show you guys that they do in fact exist in case you had a particular play like this in your playbook, that if you really needed a last-second touchdown, you were on a money drive with no time left, this is something you could potentially run to beat that cover 4, which is a very common coverage cell in the online community. Now we're going to run PA boot here out of gun doubles. Gun doubles, again, pretty much in every single playbook in the entire game. We're on this near hash. We have our fastest receiver on the left on this deep post. And then if you guys notice that we have Hopkins here on a deep crosser and then Carter as well on the outside on a deep comeback route. Now, these two other routes are very important because they are going to kind of suck in that Jamal Adams there so he doesn't backpedal and go guard that deep post from Will Fuller. Now, the reason I say one-play touchdowns aren't as prevalent this year as past years is because these DBs are insane, man. Not necessarily in regs, but especially in MUT, where everybody has 99 speed, everybody has 99 zone, they have universal coverage, they've zoned out, they're going to get back there and play that ball. Even if you do run a cover 4 beater against cover 4, they can still play it. It can result in picks. It's just really not worth it in my opinion. There's so much more easier ways to go ahead and beat cover 4 underneath, that we can make our opponent get out of that cover 4 and into another shell like cover 3 or cover 2. That's just much easier to bomb. Let's go ahead and show you guys this cover 4 beater here. I want you to pay attention to Jamal Adams here. As you can see here, he backpedals a little bit and then he steps up to go ahead and kind of play that deep crosser. So that deep crosser is very, very important because it makes that safety hesitate. He will go to react to that, which leaves that deep post over the top wide open. So again, we're on that near hash. We're in a spread set, so we're spreading the field. We have other zones occupying those two deep quarters on the right, and then we have a deep post with a very vast receiver on the left coming across the field to the right side. So there are cover 4 beaters, but I'm going to show you guys different ways to beat cover 4 underneath that, in my opinion, is a lot safer and a lot more effective. All right, guys, so as far as beating it underneath, like I said, these are very universal concepts. So I'm literally just going to go to slants, and now I'm going to make an entire route combo simply from hot routes that you guys can use out of anything. Now this is going to be really good out of spread sets, whether it's gun doubles, whether even if it's trips, maybe with a motion, gun spread as well. You guys know I love spread. This is going to be very, very effective. Now, what we want to do here is we want this running back to the wide side of the field, and what we want to do is put him on a wheel here. And then we want to be able to use this wheel to manipulate those outside zones. So we're going to put Fuller on an out route here. We can put Thomas on a streak. We can put Hopkins on maybe like a zig route or a hitch. Doesn't really matter that much. And then Carter we can leave on a slant, or we can put him on an in route and then smart route it with the RB button. And we just have a very, very basic concept right here, guys. What we can do is I want you guys to notice in this cover 4, if we know they're in cover 4, you guys have that recent playability to see what they were in. It's very clearly obvious they're in cover 4 here. Those 2 outside guys are backed up, a decent amount of yards, and we have the 2 high safeties as well. They're kind of pinched as well, so we know they're in that cover 4 and not that cover 2. I would be cautious though. There are plays like cover 2, show 4 that could potentially set up like it's cover 4, but it could be cover 2. So do be cautious about this. Make sure you guys are making good reads. Don't just throw it because you automatically think it's a certain coverage. Definitely make those reads first. Just to be safe, so you're not throwing interceptions. But as you can see here, we know if this is cover 4 that these 2 outside linebackers here, the one lined up over Thomas and the one lined up over Hopkins, are going to be the guys who are in those purple zones. And these purple zones are terrible. The hook curls that these 2 middle linebackers in are terrible. They really just don't react to anything. And if we know these 2 guys who are in zones that are supposed to be guarding the sidelines are pinched like this towards the center of the field, we can easily just throw this out route over and over and over again and either rack it, potentially turn upfield for more yards, or possession catch it just to be safe. But again, it's just super easy, man. You guys don't have to overcomplicate it. All you have to do is just throw these out routes over and over again. If they're not going to drag those guys out, it just makes it super simple, man. They're going to have to adjust to it. They're going to have to drag guys out. They're going to have to run cover 2 where their safeties are in clouds instead. And that's kind of where that thing I was talking about earlier in the intro of the video, where don't be afraid to run the same route combo and make the same read, man. If they're not going to respect you on offense and not play defense to adjust to your strengths or what the reads that you are making, don't be afraid to do that over and over again until they do respect you. Because then after that, once they do start respecting those routes, once they start making different adjustments, they start making different play calls, that's where that chess match kind of comes into play. And that's my absolute favorite part about Madden, is that chess match. Anticipating what adjustments they're making on defense, putting different hot routes out there, say, oh, maybe I think he's going to put his outside corner in a cloud here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to streak that left guy, and hopefully it gets past the cloud. So that's just where that chess match comes into play, man. That's Madden in its purest form, in my opinion. And sometimes we do have to be maybe a little bit cheesy to make our opponent get to that point where we can truly get better at the game, have a lot of fun with that chess match, like I said. But that's not the only thing we have. Let's say they do start dragging people out a little bit more. What we can do is put Lamar Miller on that wheel, like I said, and then he's going to get open as well if we get enough time here. As you can see here, the purpose of this wheel and that out route's only purpose is not to just get open versus those pinched, clouds or purples. Its purpose is also to serve as sucking out that zone. So this Lamar Miller on a wheel gets completely wide open. This works against cloud flats as well. It's kind of referred to as a cloud flat glitch. It's not really a glitch. It just makes cloud flats go play the out route towards the sideline and causes those wheel routes to get wide open. So I would say if they're in purples, you can kind of tell the difference between purples and cloud flats is if they're in cloud flats, they'll immediately they'll sprint straight out to the sideline. If they're in purples, they'll kind of like shuffle very slowly. They're going to focus more on the middle of the field as opposed to the very edge of the sidelines. Now, if they are in cloud flats, your look's always going to be the wheel. If they're in purples, the out routes are going to be wide open every time. The out routes are much quicker reads. The wheel's going to take a little bit longer to develop. But as you can see here, we're going against purples, and even then, as long as you have enough time in the pocket, which against a 3-4 odd cover 4, we're only facing a 3-man rush, so the pressure's not going to be there. That wheel does develop even against purples, which is supposed to guard it. But that's just not the only thing we have, man. We can also audible to spread. You guys know I love spread as well. And again, it's very simple. We could even put both guys here in hitches, and then we have our out routes again. So both sides, out routes, make them respect that, make them play cloud flats, and then in turn, that is going to cause the hitches to get wide open. So very, very basic stuff, very short stuff. And I know it's not the flashiest, I know it's not the most exciting, but honestly, it's the best way to do it. Be methodical on offense. That's how the best passers in the world, the guys who win all the tournaments, became so good at offense in the first place. They take what the defense gives them, and they're not afraid to do it over and over again until their opponent respects them. So here we go again, a hitch. We're able to go ahead and turn that upfield as well. I am lowballing the hitches. I love to lowball hitches. I love to lowball deep crossers as well, just so the ball is thrown, at a lower trajectory, so the safeties have less of a play on making, less of a chance of making a play on that ball, which is, a huge reason why I lowball the hitches and the curls as well. Even if they're manned up, you can lowball it. They're going to be at a better animation, less likely to drop it. And those linebackers, they're just not athletic in this game. They're not going to be able to jump a low ball at all. If you threw it normally, a linebacker potentially, depending on who they were, how good they were, they could potentially jump it for a pick. That's why I do love to low ball it. The risk is almost never there unless they're literally standing in front of it with their user, or they have a vert hook shaded down right in front of it, run in front of the hitch. It's not going to be picked off. And in this cover 4, these two linebackers here on defense are in hook curls, which are yellow zones. The other yellow zone that is very popular is vert hooks. You're going to be able to get vert hooks out of cover 2, which is why I so much prefer cover 2 shells. Hook curls are just so bad in these cover 4. Don't be afraid to attack the middle. It may look like things are covered, but I promise you these hook curls, especially with these linebackers who just have poor zone, they're not going to react. And even if they do, linebackers love to drop interceptions in this game. So don't be afraid of that, man. Again, we love the wheel routes. The wheel routes get open for that 10 to 20 yard range. We have our out routes in that 5 to 10 yard range, and then we have our hitches in that 3 to kind of 10 yard range as well. What we can also do here is if instead of a hitch, let's say it's like 3rd and 8, you can't really throw a hitch here, we could just do a curl route instead. And then we could even put Miller over here instead and put him on a wheel, so we kind of have a multi-little combo read here. As you can see here, they go ahead and get open. The linebacker was right there. It's in a hook curl, so it's supposed to guard a curl, and we lowballed it. It doesn't matter. If we have a good receiver there, he's going to hang on to it every single time, especially with DeAndre Hopkins. So the curls are great as well. Honestly, it's just super simple to beat this cover 4, man. Don't make it more complex than it needs to be. Make the defense adjust to you. Take what the defense gives you. Make them run other shells like cover 2 or cover 3, where it's much easier to manipulate those deep zones. Get those cover 3 beaters. Get those cover 2 seams down the sidelines and up the middle of the field as well to beat those. Yeah, that's just my advice. Don't focus too much on bombing that cover 4. And I think you guys will have a lot more success against this defense. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. If you guys will have any more questions, if you guys have any advice for future videos or tips, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Please leave a like and subscribe as well. It would definitely mean a lot to me, guys. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, man, and take it easy.